Hello, St. Timothy, Father Patrick here. And again, this week I have another guest with me. He's a very good friend of mine that I met 8 years ago. His name is Jared Smyth. And I met him and his wife, Mallory, again, 8 years ago doing a parish mission. And so I wanted to bring him on because he does some really interesting work. So I wanted to let him introduce himself and kind of tell you kind of what he's doing right now, where he's working.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Father Patrick. Nice to be here. So I have this Focus shirt on. So I worked with Focus for about 14 years. So a lot of evangelization, a lot of outreach. In the past 4 years, I've been working for a group called Communio, okay, which is helping equip churches for the renewal of family life, okay, and it's been great. So my background is kind of more in outreach, and what I've learned is that as much as there's a real need, right, for youth ministry, young adult ministry. College a lot of times is not very helpful for developing people's faith. Yeah. A lot of students, right, go to college and they're already not practicing the faith because there's something more foundational that's an issue. And a lot of times you can find that in the family. So the last CARA data is on average, it's at the age of 13 that people decide or make a decision to leave the faith. And so what we try to do is we try to help out as much as possible, okay, with investing in families, healthy relationships, marriages, everything like that.
Very good. So Jared and his wife just had their fifth child. They have 4 daughters and now a son.
So, yes.
There you go. And so you really are in this whole idea of strengthening the family, making sure the family has got this solid foundation that it needs. And as we look at in our society today, we know that there is really kind of a breakdown of the family. Is there anything that we have to hope for? And what are the positive things out there that are happening within families that you're seeing in your organization?
Yeah, that's great. So so a couple surprising things, right, coming into family ministry. Number one is one of the things we always do when we work with the church, we take a quick survey. People self-identify how healthy their relationships are. Mm-hmm. On average, a little over 1 in 5 people sitting in the pews self-identifies a relationship in need. So sometimes, right, there can be a sense of, man, like, how do I get help, right? I feel a sense of shame, you know, because it's a good Catholic community and I'm having a problem, right? Or maybe I think it's only the super Catholics, right, who work on their, marriages and their relationships intentionally. So one of the key things I've learned, and we always share this with different churches, is the academic discipline says that between 8 and 12 hours of skills-based relationship ministry a year is the pivot point for increased satisfaction in your relationships and decreased propensity for divorce and separation. So that's not a lot of time, right? But just a little bit of investment where you and your spouse, okay, are talking to each other and talking about how do we communicate well? How do we set expectations? How do we deal with conflict? This kind of stuff is it's just revolutionary. The group I work with comes out of a test in Jacksonville where the divorce rate went down 1/4 in 3 years in the whole county.
Wow.
And the biggest reason is because people just said, you know what, rather than bringing the smoking car into the garage, we're going to do regular oil changes and regular upkeep. So, Father, every year you have to do a week-long canonical retreat to keep your primary relationship on check.
Absolutely.
And as it turns out, as married couples, as families, this is something that we can do a little bit more frequently as well, too.
Excellent. And his wife, Mallory, was with Focus at one time as well. And now she works with an organization called Walking with Purpose. And so just a dynamic speaker, just a lot on the ball. She has a really beautiful faith. And I like to bring her to St. Timothy at some point. So
really beautiful face, too.
Yeah.
Both, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Jared, thank you for being with me today. Now, before we leave, what is one thing about you that if people knew would be a big surprise?
Well, that's, gosh, this is a surprise question.
That was the point.
Yeah, maybe that despite being a millennial, I don't have any tattoos on like 60% of my cohorts. I don't know.
There you go. Okay, very good. Very good. Well, Jared, thank you very much for joining me today. Everybody have a great weekend. I love you.